Yes, April. Are we going to learn about another king today?
No, we're going to take a short break from our Kings of Judah series and talk about being loving and kind and representing Jesus in everything we say and do.
Okay, that's great. I'm sure there's a whole big bunch of people who really need to hear that.
Yes, we can all benefit from being reminded to be kind to others. We missed you last week.
Oh, yeah, I decided to go to big church last week.
You decided to go?
I just felt like sitting with my mama and papa last week. Oh, and my mama wanted me to take some notes on the sermon because she was helping in Booker Ray's class last week.
Beulah, I know that you weren't allowed to come in here because you were mean to your brother on the way to church last week.
Oh, well, if you want to call telling the truth mean, I was just being honest and pointing out how I'd gotten a whole big bunch of awards and Billy only got a perfect attendance award. You know, the only one that didn't require being smart.
Well, something can be true and still be a mean thing to say.
The Bible says, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. So it didn't hurt nobody.
No, the Bible does not say that. And it did hurt someone.
Who?
Billy. You hurt his feelings and made him feel like he wasn't valuable or the unique special person that God has made him to be.
Oh, well, he'll be all right. Cornbread?
What are you doing here? I thought you were helping in the nursery today.
No, that's just Billy. What are you doing here?
I was, thirsty. I was just coming to ask Miss April for a drink of water.
Thirsty? You got a little cooler with juice boxes in the car.
Well, it's really lonely. Hot in the car.
Hot? We left all the windows down and it's cloudy and there's a cool breeze blowing. Plus, we parked under a nice shady tree.
That tree is scary.
Scary?
What if my fur gets caught in the branches, like King David's son Absalom?
Wait. How do you know about Absalom? I didn't even mention the part about him when I was telling you what I learned a few weeks ago.
Well, since you're here, Cornbread, maybe you could stay for the lesson.
Oh, I'd love that. Can I stay? I'm gonna be quiet as a mouse. You won't even know I'm here.
I reckon.
Are we gonna learn about another king today?
No, we're learning about being kind.
Wonderful.
Beulah, getting back to what you said a few minutes ago.
About how I was just telling the truth about all them awards I got at school?
No, about how you said that words aren't harmful.
Oh,
Proverbs 18:21 says that death and life are in the power of the tongue.
The power of death is in the tongue?
What in the world's that mean?
It means that we can either use our tongue to speak kind, loving, life-giving words, like scripture verses, compliments, and encouragement, or we can use it to destroy by speaking hurtful words.
I didn't know tongues were so dangerous.
Well, they can be if we don't use them wisely. In Proverbs 12, it says that our words can be like sword thrust.
What's that mean?
It means that our words can be as hurtful to someone's emotions as stabbing them with a sword would be physically hurtful to them.
Oh, goodness.
The rest of that verse says, "But the tongue of the wise brings healing." That means that a wise person can use their words to help someone recover from something hurtful in their past.
How?
Well, just like Christian counselors can help people by giving them encouragement and words of wisdom from the Bible to allow God to heal hurts from their past, we can also share truths from the Bible and encourage people to rely on God to help them with any problems they're facing.
I was in that forest fire, you know.
Yes, And God can free you from the fear of that experience.
Miss April, shouldn't people just have thicker skin?
Thicker skin? I have thick fur. I don't know how thick my skin is.
Cornbread, to have thick skin means that you aren't easily offended by what other people do or say.
Oh,
Everybody just needs to stop being babies. I don't care what people say, 'cause I know I'm the best at everything.
yes, you have very thick skin. Except when someone doesn't tell you that your outfit is pretty, or notice your hair and say it looks good, or if they say that Hezekiah is really smart. Oh, you kind of have, narrow skin now that I think about it.
The opposite of thick skin is thin skin. That's when a person is overly sensitive to what people say or do. But no matter what type of person we're interacting with, we should be careful to be loving and kind.
I still don't see what the big deal is.
Well, our words can cause a lot of damage. Here, let's look at what it says in the book of James. The book of James has a lot to say about the importance of controlling your tongue. James 3:5 says, "The tongue is a little member and boasts great things. See how great a forest a little fire kindles."
Fire!
Cornbread? Get up, you're messing up my braids.
What happened?
Oh, you done passed out again.
Why?
'Cause Miss April said that a tongue can cause a far.
Oh, yeah, I remember now.
How can a tongue cause a far, Miss April? It's all wet and sloppery.
Well, it's not saying that our tongues can cause a real fire. It's saying that it can do a lot of damage, just like a small spark can start a forest fire.
Miss April, you know any of them Christian counselors you was talking about? Maybe Cornbread can go to one of them.
Well, we do have a person here at the church who provides counseling.
I need to look into that.
Cornbread?
Oh, the last thing I remember was hearing forest fire.
It's okay, there ain't no fars.
When I'm afraid, I will trust in God. God is an ever-present help in time of trouble.
Miss April, you got any examples of how our words can cause damage like a forest fire? Cause damage?
Yes. We've already talked about how our words can hurt someone's feelings and make them feel unloved. But there are many other ways we can use our tongue to be destructive. One way is by gossiping.
What's gospeling?
Gossiping. It's telling something about someone that shouldn't be told.
Oh, that reminds me. Miss April, guess what I done heard about Abigail? She's a girl from my school.
What?
Beulah, whatever you're about to say, it sounds like it's going to be gossip.
Oh, this ain't gossip, it's something true.
Well, gossip doesn't have to be something false.
It doesn't.
No, gossip is telling something that's embarrassing or unflattering about someone. We shouldn't share things like that.
Oh, not ever? Even if it's really juicy-fied?
You especially shouldn't share something that's extra embarrassing or unflattering. The one exception when it's okay to tell someone else's secret is if you need to tell a trusted grown-up about something that would help keep someone safe.
Well, can I tell you what I heard about Abigail if I ask you to pray for her?
No. Unless Abigail or someone else is in danger, you should keep the details to yourself.
All right.
Will you tell me later?
No, she won't. She's not going to spread gossip. Just like in the Bible verse we read that said a little spark can burn down a whole forest. Gossip also spreads like wildfire. You may just tell one person or bear, but then they tell some people, and those people tell more people.
Oh, that's scary that gossip is like wildfire. What's another way our tongues can start a fire, Miss April?
Well, remember, it's not an actual fire, But just like a real fire, the things we're discussing can cause a lot of damage. Another example is complaining.
Oh, that's what them Israelites did after they left Egypt.
Yes, and it caused them to spend 40 years wandering around in the desert before they could enter the beautiful land that God had promised them. Complaining is contagious.
Contagious! Miss April, do you have a mask I can wear over my nose and mouth? I don't like germs.
No, I don't have a mask. And I meant that when we complain, the people around us can begin to complain too.
Oh.
Do you remember the story about the man named Demetrius that we talked about when we were studying the Apostle Paul?
No.
Well, he was a silversmith in the city of Ephesus. He made idols out of silver.
Oh, idols are yucky.
Yes, but since Paul was telling everyone about how Jesus loved them so much that he had taken their punishment for sin, the people of Ephesus began worshiping the one true God and stopped buying the idols that Demetrius was making.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, it wasn't nice from Demetrius's point of view, and he began complaining that he was losing business because of Paul's preaching. He told this to other idol makers in the city, and soon they were so upset that they began rioting and wanted to hurt Paul's friends.
Oh, no.
Complaining can spread to people around us.
Like a forest fire.
Yes. Something else that's dangerous and related to our words is lying.
How can lying be dangerous?
It can hurt other people if you say things that are untrue about them.
You're just talking about hurting their feelings, right?
Well, we can definitely hurt people's feelings with lies, but there was a man in the Bible who lost his life because of lies.
How?
The man's name was Naboth, and he owned a vineyard that the king Ahab wanted.
Ahab? I remember him. He was that bad king with the yucky wife.
Yes, his wife's name was Jezebel. When she found out that Ahab wanted Naboth's vineyard, she told some people to tell lies about Naboth.
What kind of lies?
They said that Naboth was saying bad things about God and the king, even though he wasn't doing that. There was a law that anyone speaking against God must die, so that's what happened to Naboth, all because of lies.
Poor neighbor.
Naboth. Since lies can hurt people emotionally and even physically, we should always tell the truth.
What if telling the truth hurt somebody's feelings? Like Billy getting all sad because he didn't get a bunch of awards, like me.
Well, even though something's true, we don't have to mention it, especially if it's going to make someone feel bad. It would have been better to not talk about all of your awards and to not point out that Billy only received one. There was no good reason to do that.
Oh.
The Bible says that there's a time to keep silent and a time to speak. When we're tempted to start bragging about ourselves, that's a time to keep silent.
How's everybody going to find out how great I am then?
Well, it's not our job to let everyone know how good we are at things. Remember what we learned a few months ago? Anything we're good at is only because God gave us that ability. When we brag, we're taking the credit for something that God has accomplished.
Oh.
Do you remember what happened to King Nebuchadnezzar when he was bragging?
Uh-huh. He stopped being the king for 7 years.
That's right.
When is it a time to speak, Miss April?
Well, sometimes we have to tell someone the truth, even if it's something that's going to make them sad. When that happens, it's important to do it with love.
You got any examples of how to say something with love?
Yes. Let's say your mom wants to celebrate all of those awards you received, so she plans a trip to the zoo for you and some of your friends.
Oh, I love the zoo. I wish I could gather up all the animals there and bring them home with me.
Well, for this trip, your mom says that you can only bring the 5 girls in your ballet class.
I ain't in the ballet class, Miss April.
Yes, this is just a made-up example. Now, imagine if one of your friends who doesn't take ballet hears about the zoo trip and asks if she can go.
Oh, maybe I can talk Mama into letting her go too.
No, your mom has said that only the girls from ballet can go because taking more people would be too expensive.
What if she pays for her own ticket?
Well, there's also limited seating in your mom's minivan.
What if her mama can bring her?
Her mom has to work.
Oh, maybe I can tell her that the trip was canceled because it's gonna rain, and then I'll tell everybody to not talk about how much fun we had.
That would be lying.
Lions are dangerous.
Not lions, lying. You'll need to tell the truth, but with love. This means that you could tell her how much you value her friendship and that you'd really like her to be able to go, but this trip is only for your dance class. That's an example of being truthful, but also being kind.
Maybe we can have her over for a sleepover real soon. Oh, and we could build a fort out of blankets and eat pizza.
That's a good idea.
Oh, we could make cupcakes in my Easy Bake Oven.
Yes.
What's another dangerous thing with our tongue, Miss April?
Anger. Whenever we become angry, we should stop talking.
Why? How are you gonna let somebody know how they done wrong if you don't talk?
When we're angry, we can blurt out a lot of hurtful words that we don't really mean. You can ruin a relationship by speaking when you're angry. It's better to keep quiet than to say things you'll regret later. Our angry words can also make an argument get out of control.
It makes me nervous when people start yelling at each other.
Proverbs 15:1 says that a soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger.
Beulah's little brother, Bucare, had a rash when he had the chicken pox.
Not rash, wrath. It means to be very angry. This verse means that speaking softly and with kindness can stop anger, but saying mean things can make anger worse.
There sure are a whole big bunch of stuff we ain't supposed to do with our words.
Yes. Psalm 34:13 says, "Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit."
Well, how do you keep your tongue and lips from saying things you shouldn't, Miss April?
The best thing is to pray and ask for God's help. Psalm 141:3 is one of David's prayers about speaking only good things. He said, "Set a guard, O Lord, over my mouth. Keep watch over the door of my lips."
We can pray and ask for help keeping our mouths shut.
Yes.
Okay.
It's also important to read and study the Bible and spend time with God each day because this allows God to change our hearts. Speaking mean things, gossiping, complaining, lying, bragging, and being angry are all just symptoms of what's going on inside of us.
What you mean?
Jesus said that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks.
I don't know what that means.
It means that what's inside us is what comes out. Here, let me show you. I have a sponge and I'm going to dip it in a bowl of water. Now, if I wring it out, what's going to come out of it?
Water?
Yes. Let's do that again.
That looks so refreshing. Will you squeeze it out in my mouth this time, Miss April?
Well, you may not want to drink this one.
Why not?
Let's wring it out over this other bowl.
No. Oh, what is that?
It's muddy, dirty water.
Oh.
When our heart is clean and filled with good things, like the sponge when it was dipped in this clean water, our words will be good. But when we have a lot of yucky thoughts and feelings inside us, what comes out of our mouth are ugly, yucky words.
Like complaining and lying and gossiping?
Yes, and bragging and anger and things that are mean and hurtful.
How do we get the good stuff inside us?
By asking God to forgive us and to change our hearts, and then by spending time each day with God, praising Him, praying, and reading the Bible.
Oh, okay.
Also, whenever we make a mistake, we should not only ask God to forgive us, but also ask anyone we've hurt to forgive us.
Oh.
Like Billy. You could tell him that you're sorry for bragging about your awards and for saying that his award wasn't special.
But I already done that. I had to write a letter apologizing to him.
Well, being forced by your parents to write a letter isn't quite the same as telling someone in person that you're sorry and doing it by your own choice.
I'm not an expert in letters of apology, but it didn't seem very, what's the word that means you really mean something?
Sincere? Genuine?
Yes, it didn't seem very genuine.
What did it say?
It said, "Dear Billy, I'm sorry you didn't earn a whole big bunch of awards like me."
Beulah, I'm sure you could apologize better than that.
Yeah, I reckon I could.
Why don't you talk to Billy after class, whenever he's finished helping in the nursery today?
All right.
Is it snack time now, Miss April? I was thirsty, but I don't want any water anymore.
We have some cartons of milk to go with our snack today. Would you like to wash your paws and give everyone a napkin?
Okay.
And Beulah, you can wash your hands and give everyone a spoon.
Oh, a spoon. What are we having? Oh, is it ice cream?
No, it's chocolate pudding.
Yum! I love chocolate pudding.